Welcome to Secure the Bag Week 5 NFL Picks. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy. What's good, fam?
What it do? I can't believe the first quarter of the year basically is down already.
Crazy.
Like 15 teams 2-2, so very even so far, very even keeled. Not too many powerhouses out there. Eagles the only team at 4-0, so we're trying to dial this thing in. We're trying to get right and try to get our picks squared away. So
For sure.
we'll dive right into it. I think we'll just dive right into it. Marcus has this week off, well-deserved rest day. So shout out to our brother Marcus.
Yeah.
Working super hard all the time. So
hardest working man in America, I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly. He works harder than both of us combined. So,
bro.
So
never lie.
Shout out to our brother Marcus for sure. But Strizzy last week 11-5. Great week compared to especially how we've been. Put in a good one. How did you feel about it?
I had to come back a little bit. It's been rough these last couple of weeks. I mean, it's just so crazy in the NFL. Like, you can't just go off of year over year, man. Like, so many of the teams we thought were still going to be really crappy are actually doing pretty well. Jets aren't doing too bad. Jags aren't doing too bad. So a lot of those, and the Colts are doing bad. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these teams that I keep picking kept losing. So they were kind of destroying my week. So it's getting to the point where you can kind of gauge out some of these teams a little bit. So I'm just glad that I finally have a decent week, man.
Yeah. I finally put a good number on the board. Me 9-7. This isn't my best week yet, but it's a better week, a stronger week. I'll take it for sure.
Right.
Still trying to move the needle up a little bit. But our slackers out there, you guys can compete with us on our moneyline picks on Yahoo. Just check the link in this video or saylikeachamp.com, and then you can join in with us. And then the winner of each week gets a Super Bowl square. This week's winner was my sister here for the snacks. Congratulations to her clinching in on that Monday night victory with her 49ers. So that's what's up. That being said, I think it's time. Let's move into week 5. Let's get it with our 16 money line picks. We got the timer at the bottom. So we'll get it going. Strizzy, you're first. The Colts at the Broncos.
Man, this one's actually really, really tough. I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Both teams got a lot of injuries, you know what I'm saying? I think Hines is taking over for Jonathan
Taylor.
God, I can't want to say something else, but yeah. So I'm going Broncos in this. I think they get it done.
Yeah, I'm really 50-50 on this one, but I'm thinking the Broncos at home as well. They got to win this if they're going to have like a kind of make a statement about their year. Colts struggling, even though they had the one big win against Kansas City.
For sure.
All right. A London game early Sunday morning. The Giants at the Packers, technically at the Packers.
Right. I think Daniel Jones is out of this game, right? He's injured. I think they need a quarterback. I don't know what the quarterback option is, but I'm going Green Bay either way. But Green Bay looked really bad against a beat-up Patriots team. They got to get right this week.
Yeah, I'm looking for Green Bay to kind of bounce back as well. And maybe that'll be good team bonding for them, to go away to London.
Yeah.
But I think that their offense will end up being too much for the Giants. So I'm going Green Bay.
Some tea and crumpets together, you know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Have some tea, Cross a bridge. All right, we got the Lions at the Patriots. Tricky matchup. What you think?
It's super tricky, man. It's just like Lions have been scoring on offense, playing really, really well, but somehow it's so hard to go against Belichick. They shouldn't have played that well last week, and they did. So I'm going to take the Patriots at home, man. I think Belichick's going to have something for him.
I agree. I'm taking the Patriots at home. I think this is going to be a close one. Like you said, the Lions have been scoring a lot, but the Patriots are finding ways to kind of get it done. I think that they'll really scheme up against Jared Goff in this one. So Patriots.
Yeah. Really, really super quick too. Belichick is really, really good at not making his quarterbacks the focal point. So the quarterback is so pivotal, but they never have to do much.
So, right. It's all about that scheme. Like this reminds me of the the weather game last year where Mac Jones only threw 3 times. They'll find a way to get it done.
Exactly.
A little overtime on that one, but that was worth it. All right. Next up, Chargers at Browns.
I'm going Chargers on this one. I think they're finding ways to win. Much needed win last week, and Browns are still kind of struggling a little bit with the quarterback play.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers as well. They're a tough physical team, and they're like you said, kind of finding ways to win, trying to turn around their early season woes. The Browns, I think they're still waiting on Deshaun Watson. Overachieved a little bit, but unless the running game's firing, they're in trouble. So Chargers. All right, next up, the Texans at the Jaguars.
This one's tough for me. It's kind of a coin flip too. Texans they've been competitive. You know what I'm saying? They're losing, but they've been competitive. But I like that Jags offense. They're moving the ball downfield a little bit. Offensively, they're doing a little bit better. So I'm going with the Jags in a close one.
I'm going with the Jags as well. Like you said, the offense has been really doing well. Last week, they would have had a better chance against the Eagles, but they had 5 turnovers. I don't expect that to happen again. Hopefully, that was just a blip for Trevor Lawrence. I think they'll get back on track against the Texans. So I'm going Jags.
Definitely.
All right, Falcons at Bucks.
Bucks. I think the defense is going to be a little too much. I know Tom Brady is dealing with the shoulder element. I don't think they've rolled him out just yet. But that man's going through a lot. But I still think Bucks have enough to get it done. But don't sleep on the Falcons, man. They're playing well too.
Yeah, this could be like a little pop-up surprise type game for the Falcons, but I think it's a little bit too early for them. And Mariota's still struggling throwing the ball. So Bucks are too talented. They get this win at home. But it could be a close one. All right, Steelers, Bills.
I got the Bills in this one. I'm glad they're going with the rookie, with the Steelers, kind of like give a little bit of a spark. But the Bills are just too good. Even if the Steelers get like an early lead, just coming up on top, Bills I think they'll end up getting it in the end. The Bills are just too good right now.
I agree. It's going to be a rough first start for Kenny Pickett. I think that the Bills should win. They're a big favorite, though. We'll talk about that a little bit more, though. I don't know how much they'll win by, but I think that they will win handily. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the Dolphins at the Jets.
This one was kind of tricky for me. With Tua being out, they still didn't really skip a beat because Tua has one of the weakest arms in the league, in my opinion. So Teddy Bridgewater still didn't have to do too much at the quarterback spot because they have the 2 fastest receivers. So as long as Teddy doesn't, throw the ball away, the receivers are still going to do what they do. So I think Dolphins get this dub.
I think it's going to be a really close game, division game, but this is my upset special of the week. I'm actually going with the Jets in this one. I think that their second-year quarterback gets a little bit more his feet under him, and I think that their defense will be kind of just enough. So
yeah, I feel you. Like I said, it can go either way, man. It can go either way.
All right, another division rivalry type game: Chicago Bears at Minnesota Vikings.
I'll go with the Vikings in this one. I think Chicago just still hasn't shown me much of anything. You know what I mean? They were super hyped on that first win of the season, but I think Minnesota is just a better team.
I agree. Minnesota's a more complete team, better offense. The Bears are just like they are every year. Great defense, middling offense, and they'll win a close game here or there, but not this one. So going Vikings. Next up, Titans at Commanders.
I'm going Tennessee in this one. They actually looked pretty good last week. Commanders just don't look very good, and you know how I feel about Carson Wentz. Love Riverboat Ron, but I'm going Tennessee in this one.
I'm going Tennessee as well. I think it'll be a physical game, if anything, and I like that. But the Commanders lost their rookie wide receiver on offense. I think that's going to hurt them. They might be getting Brian Robinson, though, back. Shout out to him. I'm really excited to see him play after what he went through this offseason. But Titans in this one.
Definitely.
All right. Next up, the Seahawks at the Saints. And somehow our timer got messed up. But we'll just go with it.
It's all good. It's funny. I'm not really sure if Jameis Winston's playing this game or if Michael Thomas is playing this game either. But I like the way the Seahawks offense has been playing. So I feel like it's be like their offense against that Saints defense. But I kind of like the Seahawks in this one.
I think so too. I think that the Saints did better than I expected against Minnesota, but I think they're just kind of barely holding it together. Kamara still no touchdowns, as you talked about before. I think on the social medias, which is pretty surprising this far into the season for him.
Yeah.
The Seahawks, I think, they muster a little bit on defense and they figure out a way to get some work done on offense too. So I think they'll win this game.
Yeah, little stat that I didn't know. Geno Smith is actually averaging over 300 yards passing right now.
He's one of the higher rated quarterbacks in the league. So
kind of tripped me out when I read that. So if he can keep those receivers going, they definitely have a really good chance of winning this game.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit conservative. That contributes to it, but he's still doing a great job just managing what they're asking him to do. So
for sure, man, for sure.
All right. Next up, the 49ers at Strizzy's Carolina Panthers.
Man, I gotta go San Francisco. I can't pick this team until I see some major changes. So I'm gonna basically be going against them every week till they start to figure this stuff out. Defense is playing so well, although Jeremy Chin just went out on injury reserve, so he's out for at least 4 weeks. That's a huge hit to the defense, man. So San Francisco for sure.
Yeah, I'm going with the Niners as well. I think they're picking up a little bit of steam after that Monday night victory. Jimmy G's settled in. he really didn't work that much with the team in the offseason. So now he's really like that was like his preseason. So I think they'll just be a little bit too much and overwhelm the Panthers over time. But the defense is still playing well for the Panthers. So one thing to look forward to. All right, Battle of the Birds, the Philadelphia Eagles at the Cardinals.
I'm going the Eagles in this one. Like I said, it's weird for me, man. The Cardinals just don't play very well at home. Eagles are still playing really, really good. I don't think this is the game that they lose that perfect record. I think they continue on 5-0.
I agree. I'm going with the Eagles here. I think the Cardinals defense is just going to struggle a little bit too much. It could end up being a shootout, but yeah, I'm going with the Eagles here. They'll lose sooner or later, but I'm not sure it's going to be this week. So
I think their first loss comes division.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. All right, the Cowboys at the Rams.
This one's tricky too. I like what Cooper Rush is doing, man. He's playing actually really, really well. But I feel like this is a big, really, really big test as far as defense goes. So if the Rams bring that defense, this might be kind of tricky for him. So I'm going the Rams, but this could very well be an upset. It's definitely gonna be an upset.
Yeah. This is one of my few other upsets of the week. I am going with the Cowboys. I just think the pass rush is going to get to Matthew Stafford. The Rams O-line has been terrible. Unless they just come out and run the ball like 30 times in a row, that could get ugly for the Cowboys. So we'll see. But I think it's gonna be close. But I'm going with the Cowboys. I think Cooper Rush has a little bit more magic left in him.
Dude, I feel you, man. Not only that, man. The offense for the Rams have been struggling. Aside from Cooper Kupp getting a slew of targets, man, that everybody else on offense isn't playing too well. So they got to find a way to get some of those other guys involved. Otherwise, they're gonna have a really real time the rest of the season.
Agreed. All right, moving on. Let's see. We got Sunday Night Football. The Bengals at the Ravens.
This one's tough, man. I'm going with my Ravens though on this one. I think this will be a game where they have to win at home, and they it'll be close, but they can't keep up. They can't keep getting up ahead and then giving up these wins. I think they hold on this one.
I agree. I'm going with the Ravens at home. I think this is kind of like a knuckle up type game for their defense, though. Yeah. I think that both quarterbacks are going to go off a little bit, but the Ravens are going to have to get some stops, and I think that they will be able to do that at home. So I'm going Ravens in a close one. And the capper of the week, Monday Night Football, the Raiders at the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's funny, man. For some reason, the Kansas City, like the division games, they all play pretty well against Kansas City. But I'm going Kansas City in this one. I think they have enough to beat the Raiders, especially being at home. Hard to play at Arrowhead Stadium, so I'm going with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs as well. I think the offense will be too much. The defense will have to tighten up a little bit, though, because the Raiders can score some. Yeah. So they might make it like it might be decent on the scoreboard, but I think that Kansas City wins this one pretty handily.
Definitely. Raiders, it's funny, the Raiders are actually pretty confident when they play the Chiefs for whatever reason. Those teams that just for whatever reason don't fear teams they probably should fear. But I'm with you. I think I'd probably take the Chiefs against the spread in this one, honestly.
Yeah. All right. Perfect segue into our next one. We just did our money line picks, which is one of the core principles of betting. You can always do the money line. That's the most standard bet. But we always like to go over some little definitions, to kind of educate our fans out there in case you guys are wondering. But this is not actual betting advice, of course, not actual betting advice. But we have the money line, the spread, then the over and under on the point total. So money line, what we just did, just picking who will win the game straight up, who will be the victor. And then now what we're going to do next, we're going to have 3 locks against the spread. And that is, picking who will win, considering who is the favorite with like an adjusted score. So if the favorite, if the Broncos are favored by 6.5, that means they have to win by 7 in order to cash in that bet. Vice versa, if the underdog gets plus 6.5, so if they lose by less than 6.5, then they're in there. And then we also have the over-unders that we do sometimes, and that's just you get a total score. Both teams score put together. Does it go over and under is what you're betting on there. So just the most 3 basic bets there as we move through into our next kind of category, which is the locks of the week. Strizzy, you'll go first. Last week, 2 locks again, doing great, 7 and 12. But you've been on a little streak of getting 2 out of 3 every week, so that's great. Let's see. Let's take us through these locks and see if this is the week we get all 3. Let's talk about it.
Absolutely. I feel like I talked about earlier, I think this game is going to be really, really close. I think the Lions have enough to score, but I think the Patriots in the end will be able to win this game, but I think it's going to be close. So I think it's going to come down to maybe like a field goal or less. So I felt like that half point of 3.5, I was feeling pretty good with the Lions in that one.
Gotcha.
Not to mention it's still a game they could actually win. So
right, they might just win outright with that offense. Yeah.
Yep. This is another one too. The Bills every year have at least 2 to 3 wins where they just completely blow somebody out and almost just completely skunk them. You know what I mean? Where the team scores 0. I feel like this is gonna be one of those games. I like the Steelers. The defense has been playing, pretty good. But the Bills defensively, offensively, and on special teams have just been so good this year. I feel like they can get this dub by 14 or more.
Yeah, it could be one of those games. Like you said, they have those where they just get on a roll. Everything works right.
Yeah.
So this could be that one. All right, last block.
Yeah, again, another division game. I think like I said, the Texans haven't played too well. I think they don't have any wins, right? I think they have a tie and a couple of losses.
Yeah.
But they've been competitive. Damian Pierce, the rookie running back, he's actually been playing really good. He had his best game of the season so far last week, with like 130 rushing yards and a touchdown. Also utilizing him in the passing game too. So I think that this game is no different. I think it's competitive. I think the Jags get the dub, but I'm thinking Jags win by like 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying? So I felt pretty good with Texans at the +7.
All right, very nice. So locking in the Lions, Bills, and Texans for this week's locks. I like that. I think it's going to only come down to that Bills game. Can they keep it going? Can they win?
Yeah. 14's a lot in this league.
Yeah, it is a lot, but I could definitely see it based on the way things are going, for sure. So, all right, I'll run through my 3 little locks real quick. Last week, 1 lock. I had 1 loss and 1 push, so it brings me to 4-11 on the season. That's all right, I guess. But that's why I love those half points. I need that hook on there to kind of me, because honestly, I'd rather just lose it. Like that's fine. Let win or lose, but I don't like a push. But this week for me, I'm starting off with the Titans, 2.5 point favorites over the Commanders. I think they should be able to get that done. I see it like a field goal game, so I think that half point really puts the Titans in good position there. I think that they'll run and control the ball. It might be low scoring, but that's enough for me. The 49ers over the Panthers. So this is a tough one. I am going to go with the 49ers in this one. I just think, it's going to be competitive. It might be very low scoring at the beginning because the Panthers defense is good. But as my brother Strizzy always tells me, they just end up being on the field entirely too long. So
every game.
Yeah, they could maybe, in the fourth quarter tack on a little bit extra, make this like a 9 or 10 point victory. So, but even with the 6.5, I feel good. At least a touchdown. I see the 49ers getting that done. And then last up, I wish I had a hook on this one, but Kansas City 7-point favorites over the Raiders. I think that that's at least a push. But I see that, again, this could end up being a close game because the Raiders do know them very well. But I think I feel comfortable with a touchdown type of spread. So.
It's funny. I look at both of those: the San Francisco over the Panthers and Kansas City over the Raiders. So we're kind of on the same wavelength with both of those.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe this is a week I need to catch up on you a little bit, and all that. But yeah, that's our locks of the week. Good stuff there. But anything else you want to talk about? Any other storylines or anything as we move into week 5?
I'm trying to think, man. Nothing too crazy. Preseason basketball definitely underway. Suns and Lakers are playing right now. So just getting excited, man. I think the biggest thing that I've been loving seeing is a lot of the players that I love watching, like Murray from Denver. Just seeing him back hitting his first 3 of the game, that was cool. You know what I'm saying? Kawhi Leonard's back. Like just even Ben Simmons, who I'm not a huge fan of, but even just seeing him back out there, it's right. You know what I'm saying? It's just right. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like even like when KD was injured a couple years ago, seeing him back. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's like when these guys are playing, the NBA is just better. You know what I'm saying? So glad to see so many of these really, really big names who were injured last year coming back this year. And hopefully they all have long, lengthy careers. And Dame, too. Dame missed practically the entire season last year. So glad to see him out playing yesterday. So a lot of big names being able to come back. So happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. NBA will be upon us very shortly. We got MLB playoffs. Hockey starting, and then the football season is really picking up steam now. So, so much to look forward to, and appreciate all the slackers there. Again, compete with us on the Yahoo, and then come check us on Tuesday for the big show. That'll be Slack 163. We'll go over kind of the big scoreboard and then all the other sports as well, and then we'll be back next Thursday for more locks, more money line picks. So, until then, it's your boy A-Dub
and your boy Strizzy.
And that was Secure the Bag.
Good.